Ladies and gentlemen, cats and kittens, boys and girls, I am Carbonor. Welcome to my channel. I hope all is warm and well in your world. Today, you join me for part 3 of the 420 subathon. Now, I was trying to think of what to play, and then I was like, hey, let's do something pretty cool. Let's give everybody a sneak peek of the characters that will be in the Marvel vs. DC Federation. Shall we? I think we shall. I think we shall. Oh, I'm not going to show you all the extra outfits that I have for everybody. I'm just going to show you the primary one, to leave some things to be a secret. But I figured, yeah, let's do that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the characters. Now, all of these characters, unlike with my original character federations and my female celebrity federation, where I put all the faces together. I Photoshop and copy and paste and cut all the tattoos and shit like that. I make everything and upload it all to the game and created everything for the arenas, the whole 9 yards. But for this Marvel versus DC one, I thought that what I would do was just go through the community creations by other people and mix and match, clean up, fix, and add different faces, making sure everybody had completely unique faces. But everything in this federation will be completely from the community creations. I didn't upload anything for this one, so just so you know, that was kind of the rule that I was following. But I'm just going to go through and show you one by one the different people that I have in this federation. I thought, hey, let's do that. So here we have Adam Warlock. This one I made completely on my own. I just I put it together. I didn't download this one. As far as I know, there wasn't an Adam Warlock in the community creations. And this is my favorite outfit that Adam ever wore. And of course, he's got the soul gem on his forehead. Apologies for the camera. It's very limited. There's a lot of shit that I wish that you could do with the camera when you're creating characters that would make it so much easier, but they make it difficult. This is my Adam Warlock. So I figure, we'll do this for a little bit, however long it takes to go through the 100 characters, and I'll just chat. And we'll just have a fine old time while I just show you what I've done. Here's my Aquaman. I prefer the regular old school style Aquaman. Short blonde hair, orange and green. Some Aquaman. Looks pretty good. And again, I did quite a bit to a lot of these. You know, like I said, cleaning stuff up, finding better symbols within the image options, and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I didn't just copy them directly down. I pretty much edited, tweaked everybody. We got Bane, and I've got a whole system of how I'm going to um, do everybody's attributes. Thank you. That word was not coming to mind. Attributes of the way I'm going to scale everybody so that you won't have somebody like Robin or I don't know, fucking Cyclops going up against Superman and being able to, necessarily have a chance. I mean, with this game with WWE, it does the tributes do matter, but not as much as you would think. Basically, if the computer decides that it wants the person with the lowest stats to win, then that's what's going to happen. And you can sometimes see the game will slow something down or have one of the characters kind of be still for a minute while the other one is recuperating. And that's because the game has already decided which one of them is going to win, and then it has to slow shit down or alter stuff to make that happen. I mean, that's legitimately. If you go back and you watch all the episodes of the shit that I've made, you'll see that quite often. And sometimes it'll be adamant about it. Sometimes when I'm like, no, that person is not winning, I'll have to rematch it like 5 or 6 times for the computer to get, oh, you want the other person to win. Yes, yes I do. Yes I do, computer. I want the other person to fucking win. This is my favorite version of Batgirl. She was fucking awesome. I mean, fucking awesome. So basically this is just going to be me talking about comic books. Here's my Batman. I think he turned out pretty cool. This is a good one. But you know, redid the face, and a lot of them, I would lay a transparent image over the body to smooth out the texture as much as I could from the suit that you use. I mean, there's all kinds of tips and tricks and fucking shit that you learn just by playing this and by being one of the, you know, being a creator. You learn how to do all sorts of stuff. Oh, wait. I didn't need to do that. And everybody's pretty much to scale. As you know, as good as I can get it for for the game. You can make somebody the range is I think 5'4" to 7'11". I think is how, or it may be seven. It's 7 foot something. So you've got a pretty wide range of heights. My beast. I don't like that they've turned him evil. I don't. It's so stupid because that all started when they did the original miniseries, the event Age of Apocalypse. And in Age of Apocalypse, it was an alternate timeline where I can't remember what had happened. I think Apocalypse had won or something like that. So, there were different versions. Everybody went evil. All the mutants, and that because that was primarily what it was. It was a an X-Men, X Factor, you know, kind of a universe, and the rest of the heroes kind of got shit canned because Apocalypse won. So there were precious few other heroes in the universe other than the mutants, and there were like twisted evil versions of them and shit like that, and they were all shades of gray. They were all pretty close to being bad. But the Beast was like an evil genius. He was like a sadistic evil genius in that universe, and because there were like two characters that they brought over from that storyline. One of them was Nate Summers, who was um, Cable's son in that universe, and I think it's what it was. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Cable's son. in that universe. And the beast, the evil beast, eventually came over. And people got so hung up on how awesome and how evil he was that they just kept leaning the beast towards the bad guy until they finally made him a fucking bad guy. And it's just like, god damn, this was supposed to be a one thing for one character in one fucking alternate universe, and you guys are such shit fucking writers that you said, no, let's just make him evil in this universe. Bizarro. And this character was like in one issue, she had a nightmare where there was a Bizarro Supergirl, and there never has been, as far as I know, an actual Bizarro Supergirl. But people are very attached to that one, that one thing, and there could be a Bizarro Supergirl as well. So I went ahead and said, fuck it, let's make her. Let's let's do it. Somebody always makes her. I just tweaked things a little bit, added some more details to the face. It's that kind of thing. I just tweak things to my own personal preference. Sometimes people do a really good job with an outfit, but there'll be certain parts of it where they'll kind of slack a little bit on the detail or on the way this particular piece connects to that particular piece, and you know those kind of things I'll try to even out as best I can. And like I said, sometimes I just look for better versions of symbols and or more a symbol that's closer to the time frame that I prefer the character to come from. Like I wouldn't use the old school like original Superman normal looking S for my Superman. There's a stylized version that I prefer. So here we have our Black Adam. That is actually, I did actually use the Rock's face for this, but I tweaked it, I altered it so it wouldn't look like him. But I wanted to use the face as the base and just, I narrowed the nose and a few other things to his face to make it not quite him. Got his ears pointy because he's supposed to have pointy ears. I don't know why. I don't know why Black Adam has pointy ears, but he's always had pointy ears. Yeah, I don't know how interested most people will be in what I'm doing right now, but I want to do it so people can see what we got going on and see how clean this one is right here. See how clean this is? That's because, like I said, I laid this wasn't a transparent one. I laid a black square, a color square over everything, and then took out the texture, and it makes it look so much cleaner, so much nicer. And then you can emboss the stuff like the lightning on him right there. You can emboss it so that it looks kind of like it's either set in or it stands out. I was really happy the way the Black Bolt turned out. Black Bolt's always had a very fucking awesome costume. And the character itself, his power level is fucking crazy. And I've always liked that he screams. If he screams, he could fucking blow up a goddamn planet if he just cut loose. Black Canary. And basically, with the women, I went through and found the most attractive faces that they had available in the community creations, and then gave every one of the girls a different face. I gave every one of the guys a different face, so they would all seem like, you know, individual, unique people, not just carbon copy fucking faces. Because I want them to be, I want them to look like real people, very distinct and different. So there'll be a men's belt, a women's belt, and a men's tag team belt. I don't know that I'm going to do a women's tag team belt. I have a lot of belts. I made sure to download a lot of belts just because you never know what you're going to do, what or how things are going to, what you're going to want to do, especially when you're actually, creating, a couple years worth of shit from a game. You're like occasionally you're going to be like, maybe I should change it up a little bit, like I did with the WTF. It used to be two shows, and I was like, this isn't. There's not enough. There's not enough variety in who's wrestling who. So I decided to make to blend them together, because there used to be Tuesday night download and Thursday night live stream were the two WTF shows, and eventually I got rid of the Thursday night show and brought them all into Tuesday, and had to come, drop a couple of belts and shit like that. You want to have enough content in there in your image library that you can do shit like that to kind of, to try to kind of change it up, kind of keep it from getting stale. This isn't horrible. It's not great, but it gets the job done. I could probably get rid of the shit on his legs, to be honest with you. But, it looks close enough. That was pretty much the best that I could do with what was available. Some of these may not look entirely like the person, and you have to remember that I had to do the best I could with what was available. There's only so much you can do. This is actually a Scarlett Johansson face, but very, very much more like the comic book version of her outfit and whatnot. Well, there's some really talented people that put this shit together. I mean, I make pretty cool characters, and I make my own stuff, for those universes, the original character and the female celebrity. But I still consider myself as largely a novice compared to some of the other people and what they're able to put together. This is actually Chris Evans's face, but the traditional cap outfit. The real Captain Marvel, his name is not Shazam. His name is fucking Captain Marvel. That is who this man is. Captain fucking Marvel. So I'm just gonna go through all these characters, and then then I'll switch to a game. I just thought this might be a nice um palette cleanser, possibly. Is that the right term? Catwoman. And I think I'm going to do them all in just one show. It's not going to be a 2-night show for the DC versus Marvel. It's going to be one show a week. I'm fairly certain is how I'm going to do this with them. And of course, all of these characters, you can upload 80 of your created characters. Not all 100. I don't know why. But you can only do 80. And I re-uploaded all of these after I tweaked them and fixed them and did my thing. I would re-upload them to the community creations, my versions of them. And of course, all the girls, all the females that I make, because I take great care in making my female characters as attractive as possible. Call me shallow. I don't give a shit. But I think I had close to 6,500 downloads. I think so. People dug what I was doing for sure. The Black Widow was one of my most popular downloaded. Was one of my most downloaded character. Was one of them. Let's see. Black Cat got some pretty good downloads as well. Captain America got a lot. Colossus. That's a pretty goddamn good Colossus. I didn't really do anything to this Colossus. I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. I didn't do shit to this one. I was just like, "Oh, that's really good," and downloaded it, and here he is. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty goddamn comic accurate right there. Pretty goddamn comic accurate. Let's go this way. Again, I had to smooth out all the texture so that it looks streamlined like that. That's pretty comic accurate too. The most I mean, if the only thing that I would have changed on it is I would have cut the top part of his mask off so that his hair stuck out, and that would have been my favorite my favorite version of Cyclops. This is kind of a blend of that and his original suit with the full skull cap. Dagger, you saw Cloak. This is Dagger. She got quite a few downloads too, because it's all about the face. Because what I did with this one, I didn't do shit with this one either. I just took her and gave her a better face, and people were like downloading the fuck out of her. It's that because that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people will put so much work into creating the outfit and getting it, the perfectly looking like the dagger that her costume actually has. and then they'll just be and whatever with the face. And you put an actual attractive face on it, and people go download, 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 download. And as we all know, all female characters in comic books are hot as shit. And I'm fully on board with that. I am in total agreement with that. I think this is actually Charlie Cox's face, if I'm not mistaken. And I intentionally didn't use everybody's face from the MCU or the DCU. In some cases I did, but I intentionally tried to steer away from that as much as I could, just so they would look, you know, like well, different, distinct. He's probably too tall because I don't think Daredevil is 6 feet tall. Again, had to streamline the outfit, make it smooth. They had versions, of course, that were more like the TV show, and I think I've got one in one of the extra attires because you can have 4 different outfits on a character, but it's like you have two 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 character things that you can do, right? Each character. You can make 4 different outfits, but 2 of them are entrance and 2 of them are ring, and they're connected. So you have to have a ring and an entrance, and then a ring and an entrance. So you can make 4, but that means that whatever your entrance looks like, you're not going to look like that when you're actually in the ring wrestling. It'll be the different outfit. So technically, you can make 4, but really you can only make 3. You can use that second entrance and ring attire that's in one category. You can make those 2 separate outfits, and then you can swap them back and forth when you want to change their outfit. Again, it's you know, dark side. I had to I'm mixed that face was from a more current version of Dark Side, and I put it on the old version of his suit because that's the way I prefer my Dark Side. I prefer that he has that outfit. Dazzler. Dazzler is one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. I have every issue of her first run series and her only run series. I have every issue. One of the few titles that I have every issue of. I mean, up to a point, you know. The other one that I have every issue, one of the other ones is Spider Woman, the original black and or red and yellow outfit, and Gene 13. I have, I think there were three. What do they call it? They restarted it 3 times. I have every issue of all of them. Gene 13 was one of my favorite comic books. I love that comic. But yes, this is Dazzler. Pretty fucking comic accurate right here. If you could give her roller skates, that'd be the only difference. That's all she needs is roller skates, and bam, it'd be her. So I see a few more people are joining in. This is part 3 of my 420 subathon. I just finished playing Fortnite, and I thought, hey, let me show everybody a sneak peek of the DC versus Marvel Federation that I'm working on. So there won't really be any gameplay. This is just kind of show and tell. This is a special sneak peek exclusive to the subathon, you could say. Of course, here's Deadpool. Deadpool is not one of my favorite characters. I've never really liked the character. Now, I think Ryan Reynolds is a perfect fucking Deadpool. He's absolutely perfect for Deadpool. I just have never liked Deadpool. I think his power, I think he's too overpowered. I think it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I don't mind the fourth wall breaking shit because you can in universe say he's just batshit insane and he talks to nobody. So I don't mind that because he's standing there in front of say Captain America, for instance, and he's talking to the reader, but in Captain America's eyes, Deadpool's just turned around and he's talking to the air. So he's just as far as everybody else goes, he's batshit insane, even though he is breaking the fourth wall and talking to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's not that bad because She-Hulk is famous. Her comic was famous. John Byrne made her talk to the fucking writers and talk. That's where they got that for the TV show. That comes directly from the comics. It was just handled much better in the comics than it was on the show. But yeah, I've never been an enormous fan of Deadpool. Deadpool was basically Liefeld's making an OP character just because. Oh, he's like Spider-Man and Wolverine and the Punisher all rolled into one, except he's even better. That's essentially what Deadpool is. Here's Deadshot. Now this you can't tell under the mask, but this is the comic book version of Deadshot. He's not black. He's white. Because the comic book version of Deadshot is a white dude. And while I love the Suicide Squad movie, I'm probably one of the few people that do like the Will Smith Suicide Squad movie. I really do fucking like that movie. And he did an excellent job as Deadshot. He did a fucking superb job as Deadshot. But if you know me and you have followed the channel for any length of time, you know that I absolutely hate race swaps just for the sake of a race swap. I hate it. I'm always against it. I don't give a shit how good the actor is. It does not fucking matter. If the character is white, then the character should be represented as white in every fucking media. Period. Period. If you want a black character, pick a black fucking character. There's shitloads of them. Despite what many people would have you believe, there's shitloads of them. So, this is the white Deadshot from the comics. Comic accurate, white guy Deadshot. And he got a lot of downloads. just so you know, because I made it clear in the description that this was the comic book accurate version, and people knew immediately, oh, it's the white guy. And I got a lot of downloads for that. Here's my Deathstroke again. This is one that I didn't do shit to. Now I did have to upload his eye. I think I did have I I know I had to do something because I couldn't find the eye patch, and the one version of him in the community creations for some reason was glitched, and it showed in the preview picture that he had the eye patch, but when you downloaded it, it wasn't there. So I'm pretty sure I had to do something, but I'm not sure if I just took some Spider-Man eyes and erased the other side, or if I did have to upload this. I don't think I uploaded it. But yeah, people were pretty fond of this one too because it actually had the eye patch. It's kind of fun. I'm kind of enjoying this. I know most anybody else would be bored to fucking tears at me just showing a bunch of characters, but I'm enjoying this because I'm really happy with the way all these came out, the way they all looked, especially after my tweaking. And I'm kind of looking forward to starting this federation as well. I don't have that much that I need to do. I just need to finish everybody's move sets basically. The entrance, and I've decided for this that I'm going to again go with the way I simplified it by just taking what was in the community creations and like I said, cleaning them up and switching them around for my own personal preference. I think I'm going to continue that with their move sets, and I'm not going to go in and like individually change. I'm just going to pick like superstars for everybody and then just copy their fucking moves. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the route that I'm going to go with this. So that it is completely from the in-game or in-community creations, and that's it. And I didn't really do anything else with it. That's kind of the goal. I'm kind of wanting to keep this one simple because I put a fuck ton more work into the originals and the fucking female celebrities. So I just basically have the moves, and yeah, that's about it. That's going to be um some work. Don't get me wrong. It is absolutely insane. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. He says, "Good morning, happy 420. I failed to go to sleep early and have just woke up. Deathstroke looked really good. I have that version's mask. You have like a replica of it? That's pretty badass. How's the stream been going? What have you been playing?" He says. I played Ball Pit for 3 hours, made a lot of progress in that. And then I played Fortnite for a couple hours and I got a win. I got a victory. I was pretty happy with that. And now I decided to do a little palate cleanser show and tell of preview of what's coming for the DC versus Marvel Federation. No, it's just a plastic one, nothing worth cosplaying with. LOL. That's cool. That's cool. I've got a shelf or a bunch of shelves in my bedroom, lined up together with a bunch of replica stuff. I've got a oh shit, let's see. Oh, I've got a Captain America shield. I've got Mjolnir. I've got an Infinity Gauntlet. I've got Cosmic Cube. I've got the Eye of Agamotto, Doctor Strange's, thing that he wears around his neck, his necklace. I've got the Black Panther's necklace. I've got um I've got a Batman utility belt. I've got a magic lasso for Wonder Woman. I've got um Aquaman's trident. I've got several versions of Green Lantern rings and all the other color lanterns as well. I have one of every one of them at least. I have a Legion of Superheroes ring. I have Satana's magic wand. I have the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. I have um, the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. I have a Hellraiser puzzle box. I have David Tennant's Doctor Who, Sonic Screwdriver. I have a Death Note book and pen. That's an actual notebook that you can write in. It's pretty cool. I wish it worked, but I don't think it does. I've never tried it. Maybe I should. Um, and a few other things. I have all sorts of shit. He said it came in a box with a comic book. Well, that's pretty cool. And he says, I do have a Batman cowl though. That's pretty badass. It's like my wall of armaments. So there's my Doctor Strange. Again, this is the comic accurate version of Doctor Strange. I do have as one of the alternate attires the MCU version, but I'm usually a you know I prefer the comic book versions of everybody. Although this is the MCU version of Drax. I could have made the comic book version. I've made him before, um, just with shit within the game, not with uploading anything. So I could have made it, but it's a very lengthy process. The Drax the Destroyer in the comic books is infinitely more powerful and a better character than the Drax from the NCU. There's way more involved in the character than what they did with him. They basically just made him impossible to hurt. But he's like Hulk level, like beyond Hulk level fucking strength in the comic books. He's basically like a Superman if he was the Hulk. Is kind of what Drax the Destroyer is in the comics. But he's stupid as fuck because the process of him becoming, you couldn't see him. Oh, you're joking. He's Oh, he was standing still. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. I see. But yeah, he's way better in the comic books, which goes without saying. He's the Enchantress, Thor villain. I added the circles to her legs because that's more comic accurate. I really can't wait to get this federation started. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Because I mean, I watch this. I don't just um record the shit and put it together and for my original characters and shit and for the female celebrity federation. I actually watch them because it's interesting to me. It's good fucking wrestling sometimes. Most of the time it's good. You'll be surprised at how they'll go back and forth and when they do taunts and shit and you're just like wow. And the further they go, each one that comes out gets a little more advanced than the next one. The AI within the game gets a little better, a little smarter. They put more stuff in and more personality things, and it's better than real wrestling right now because at least if you watch an hour to an hour and a half of one of my shows, you're going to get 7, 8, and on a pay-per-view possibly 10 or more matches. And if you watch an actual episode of Raw in a 3-hour show, you'll probably get 4 matches. You know what I'm saying? So if you actually like wrestling, the shit that I'm creating is going to provide you more wrestling than actual fucking wrestling right now. Firestar from Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends. Serp says, they all look really good. You've done an awesome job with these. And he says, I used to watch the sim fights in the older SmackDown games. Yeah, that's what I've always done. Like I very rarely, like after a time, I stopped even playing the games. I would just put my universes together and I would have tournaments and shit and do stuff just for my own enjoyment. And then I started copying them onto DVD. So I don't know when I did that. I think around 14, 2K14 might have been 13 or 14 because 14 was the one that destroyed my PlayStation 3. Just fucking got it in a perpetual cycle of reformatting. It would say needs to reformat, and I would say okay, reformat, and then it would go through the whole process, and then it would say needs to reformat, and I'd be like okay. So it totally destroyed it, and I didn't buy any up until like 18. Like I didn't buy another one until I was like okay, because what killed it was the stuff that I had downloaded because that was the first game that I was able to access it, the community creations. I didn't have, that PlayStation 3 was the first one that allowed me to do that. And so I did, I just filled up my slots of shit, like you would expect. But they give you all these spaces for characters and for moves and all this other shit and for crowd signs and fucking it's stupid the amount of shit that you can put into these games, into these wrestling games to customize them. But if you do that, it's more than the game can handle. You know what I'm saying? And people would tell me, "Well, of course, you filled it up." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, they're the ones that gave me that many slots. That was too many slots for their game to handle. Why did they give me that many fucking slots?" You know what I'm saying? That was always my argument. But yeah, that's what I've always done. Like I mean, we're talking because some of my original characters I've mentioned before are 25 years old. I've been making them since Paladin and King are the first two fucking characters I ever fucking made for any fucking wrestling game. And all these years later, they're still in them. Paladin right now is the current men's champion. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. I would create these characters and then I would just simulate them, watch the matches and record who won and who lost and keep track of how many wins they had. I don't do that as much as I used to do. Uh, the fucking win loss record. But I did till about a year ago, and I just lost track of it. Now I'm so far fucking ahead. But I'd kept track of you know as much as I could there for a long time. And my sister asked me one night when I was showing her and my mom the when I had upgraded the women's division of the original character federation. Uh, and I had those preview things that I posted, as shorts, and they were like, I was talking about telling my sister about it, and I was like, when I do all this and this and this, and she just said, "Why?" And I was like, I I don't understand that question. What do you mean, why? Why not? It's because I've made a universe of characters that have storylines that are as deep and involved. I mean, we're talking 25 fucking years. The head canon that I have for some of these fucking characters, I've got their whole lives in my brain. Their friendships, their falling outs, their relationships, everything. This is obviously Gamora, but this again is the comic book version of Gamora, who is 9 bajillion times better than the fucking MCU version. You know how in the Guardians of the Galaxy when they put Gamora in that prison cell and she's all scared of all those dudes who are threatening her and stuff. Um, she could run through them in about a half a minute, just wipe every fucking one of them out and be smiling the whole time. She is the deadliest woman in the universe. That's where her name. That's her title, the deadliest woman in the universe. She would have decimated if she had wanted that thing from Quill. There wouldn't have been no scuffle like they had, no back and forth. She would have just fucking in one move, he would have been on the ground dead, and she would have had it and took it back to Thanos. That's she is so fucking powerful. She is so fucking it is ridiculous. Ridiculous how capable she is. And they made her so fucking weak and frail in in the MCU. Because Adam Warlock, Thanos, and Gamora are my number three one. That is my holy trinity, my favorite characters of all in the Marvel universe. Adam Warlock, Thanos, and fucking Gamora. I fucking love them so much, and they are so much more than the MCU would have you believe. They are so much more. There is so much depth, so much more depth to those characters. It Ghost Rider. I really didn't do shit to this one at all. The ones that I didn't do anything at all, because the ones that I really didn't do anything at all to, I didn't re-upload those to the community creations. It was only the ones that I at least gave a new face, that I had at least done something to, because I didn't want people to think that I was just directly copying shit and taking credit for their stuff. Because I'm very sensitive to that kind of thing. I wouldn't I don't I think in 2K19 I think yeah it was one of them. It was either 19 or it was 22. I like the last like day of the community creations before they shut it off. I like offered my original characters for like uh, you could only upload so many at a time at that time. So I would do 10, leave them up for like an hour or two. And then I did 10 more, left them up for like an hour or two. But largely my original characters, I don't, I don't offer them up. I don't, I'm not giving those to the community to do stuff with. It's just no, 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 no. These are my babies. I can't have other people having them. What, 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 what the fucking shit? Why do you have that on? That uh uh why have you glitched like that? She's supposed to have animal print. I'm gonna have to fix that. See again, these games, there's all kinds of little glitches and shit in them that it'll just decide one day, hey, I'm gonna fucking do this. It's like, why? Why are you doing that? Why did you suddenly change the leopard print to a fucking goddamn beach print? Fucking ocean. Green Arrow. My favorite version of Green Arrow. It's the one that they took for the show Arrow, basically. It was just a badass look. Even I could admit that the little hat with the feather in it was just a little too much. So when they put the hood on him, I was like, oh, okay, that's much better. that's that's much better. Yeah, there's all kinds of little twitches. Like in my female celebrity federation and the 2K24, if you have two people with the same hairstyle in the same match, then during their entrances, the second one, their hair color will change to the first one's. Then you get in the match and it's fine. But for some reason, it does that in the entrances, and it drives me fucking insane. There's no reason it should do that, but it does that because there's just little fucking tweaks and fucking bugs and shit with these games. And it's like I say, because there's so much shit that you can add into the game and you can create that when you do that, the game goes, ah. It's like, it's not my fucking fault that you did that. It's not my fucking fault. That's like saying, hey, would you like a free sandwich? Well, yes, I would like a free sandwich. Whoa, hold on there. Hold on. Obviously, it's Green Goblin. The alternate version for this one, I think, is the Hobgoblin. The alternate outfit I have is the Hobgoblin. Now we get some Green Lanterns. Again, this is another one that I smoothed out. There was way too much texture. I cleaned up the lines on the green because it was kind of messy. Gave him a new face. The lanterns, Superman and Wonder Woman are my two favorite DC characters, and then it's probably going to be the lanterns after that. John Stewart. And Kyle. I had to do some cleaning up on that white thing. That the white and his symbol is all one piece, but it's cut weird, so it's not exactly even. And I had to do some tidying to make it a little cleaner. And of course, gave him a face. You can pretty much be sure all of these people I gave new faces, other than like Ghost Rider who has a skull for a face. But if they look human, then I gave them a face because they more than likely had one of the just a generic fucking in game face. Because again, that just brings them to life. It gives them even if like with her, she's got a mask. Even with him, who's got a complete mask on, even fucking him, he's got a face under there. Deadpool has, yeah. I think I got a damaged face under him. It's like I put faces. That's just it makes them more alive to me. It's I'm weird. I'm fucking weird. I'm fucking weird. This was a decent Harley Quinn. I would have fishnets on her, but that was one too many. One too many image slots for the character was having the fishnets. And I was like, well, I think I'd rather have her have the tattoos. I think I'd rather her have the tattoos than the fishnets. Was my choices. And I've got a couple different versions of her as well. Several of them I have different versions of. As I said, just so I've got options when I'm actually creating the shows. Hot girl, kind of a blend of more than one hot girl. Kind of a blend of my preferred version, which was pre 52, and the old school original version. Kind of a blend between the two. Hawkman. Not horrible. It's not horrible. Not horrible. I don't think. Some of them are better. uh, Trying to think which one's got more views since then. The Hulk got quite a few, surprisingly, but he turned out pretty good. His chest and his abs, that is an image placed over the existing character's body to kind of give it more definition. Like I said, there's lots of tricks. There's lots. They have all kind. People upload all kinds of physiques and skin tones and shit like that you can lay in to make them look, you know, different. Just to make each character look different. Like they've got actual, different definition and shit like that. Because if you've got 100 characters, you're gonna notice the same rib cage, the same fucking thing. So you want the stuff. This is kind of, and it reassures me a little bit what looking at some of the shit in the community creations to know that okay, great, I'm not the only crazy motherfucker out there. Super. That makes me feel so much better. There's more obsessive compulsive people that just need to create universes. that just need have too much shit in their head. I was like, fantastic. That makes me feel so much better. And speaking of Fantastic Four, all my Fantastic Four members did really well. This is what he looks flamed on. So I was really happy with people were pleased with how I tweaked all them together. And then of course, as you saw, that's what he looks like, regular version. So this is what he looks like when he enters, and then the flamed version is what he looks like when he's wrestling. That was my thought there. It's like, so he comes in and he wants everybody to see his face, but he gets in the ring and he's like, okay, activate superpowers. I didn't do anything to this one except give her a face. Whoever did this did a really good job. I didn't have to clean it up or anything. I was like, yeah, that's pretty badass. Pretty badass. Another one I didn't do shit to. Somebody else did a very good job making him look all icy. We're halfway done. Now this one, I made this one entirely myself. 100% I made this one. The face I got from the community creations, but all these lines and shit were the images, the in-game generic images. I just pieced them together and resized them, repositioned them to mimic. I mean, this is pretty dead on for an impulse. This is pretty dead on. But yeah, this one was entirely me. And again, I didn't have to upload anything. I just took, like I said, the in-game generic images and a face that I found in the community creations, and blammo, I had impulse. I didn't get the chance to upload him though. Unfortunately, I didn't make him until after the servers went down. I really wanted to get him done because I knew what I was going to do with him. He was the last character space that I had was for him, and I knew that I was going to have to make him myself because I couldn't find him in the community creations. I really wanted to because I bet money people would have been really happy. They'd have been like, "Oh shit." Because it's the obscure characters that you'd be surprised how many people out there are actually looking for. Again, it's easy. She was really popular, and you can probably understand why. Marvel rivals and all, and because of one of her alternate attires that I'm not going to show you right now. But it's one of the sexiest outfits that Invisible Woman ever wore in the comic books. Not Malice, not the Malice outfit, but it was the one that she wore after Malice, but it still Malice had still influenced her personality. So it's really skimpy. That's what I'll say. Now with Iron Man, what I did was the entrance is Tony Stark, and this will be the one that I show you the alternate attires for. So the entrance is Tony Stark, and then after he gets in the ring, he turns on his armor to wrestle. This is fun. This is just me. This is just me being a goober. This is what this portion of the 420 subathon is. It's just me being a goober. This Joker I didn't do anything with. This was my favorite one that I found in community creations because this is like classic Joker right here. This is my favorite Joker. Classic fucking crazy ass Joker. you know the movie Suicide Squad, then you'll know who Katana is. All I did with this one was give her a face. That's all I did to this one. An actual Asian face that I found in the community creations. So there's an Asian face under there. You can kind of tell by the eyes under the mask. Didn't do anything to this guy. I didn't do anything to Killer Croc. Somebody did a very good job applying the skin on this guy. I mean, that's nice. Because you don't understand how hard it is to get the lines that fucking perfect, dude. You don't understand. You don't understand the challenges to make this shit look as clean as some of these people can do. This is fucking, and you look at it and you're like, that looks pretty simple. It's this is fucking beautiful. this is that this is fucking beautiful. And I've kind of wanted to do something like this for a long time. I thought about making a video. I thought about doing a live stream and just building shit and letting just letting people fucking join in the chat as I put stuff together or put moves together and shit like that. So this is sort of testing the waters. This is classic Lex Luthor armor. Classic. Very simple. Very simple. Yet very effective. I, of course, gave him a face. The only thing I did to this one was just it had like four different outfits for him, and I kind of combined some of the parts to kind of something more like I wanted. But other than that, this is mostly that's just somebody applied that face that well. Again, if 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 you haven't spent 25 years fucking creating characters in these games, you don't understand what some of this some of I mean just it's fucking crazy. And I mean I remember back when like legitimately there was no internet. I mean there was an internet, but there was no uploading this shit to community creations, right? So what you had to do was you had to go on these forums where people were sharing shit, and they would literally tell you make this letter this shade, and they would give you the degrees of shades because there's a shader that you can alter the color of, on the spectrum and shit. And they would give you the exact numbers, and then they would tell you exactly this many clicks across and this many clicks down and this many clicks downsized. And you would have it was that kind of a recipe. So if you wanted to make like a Brock Lesnar back then when he first appeared in the game, and for years you had to look like put all this shit together exactly the way this massive fucking long like paragraphs fucking description of exactly where to place these items and in what order and shit like that, and in order to make it look like holy shit that's his tattoo, holy shit. It was insane what you had to do back then. Serp says, I followed those types of gods. LOL. Seriously? Yeah, dude. That's old school, man. Holy shit. You know. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. And we did it. And we fucking did it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody took the time to do it, and we took the time to fucking do it. Serp says, I know. That was a Magneto. I, of course, changed the face and cleaned it all up, made it look smooth and spandexy. There's not this. I reapplied the face because they didn't put it on very well, so I reapplied it, made it look nice. But other than that, the outfit is all shit. That's just you can get in. It's just in game stuff. There's nothing added other than his face. And like I said, I applied it better than the person who originally made it. Like the eyes weren't in the right spots, you could see the red above the actual eye, and the lips weren't right, and that kind of shit bothers me. This one, I took a face that was already in the game, put it on her, because they had the face that come with her was from a comic book picture, so the face was attached to the head cow, and it didn't line up right. So I gave her a face and then made the cow with the in-game generic images, and I cleaned up the the blue on her bodysuit. That's what I did with this one, and she looked pretty good. People like this one too, obviously. Like I said, the chicks, the chicks that I make, people fucking like the women that I make because I respect attractive women. So, like I said, I take great care to make them comic accurate. And female characters in comic books are hot. Like, find an ugly one. You won't, unless they're like some kind of really evil something. Other than that, if it's a comic book female, they're attractive. And you can say the same thing about the dudes. They don't make ugly fucking comic book fucking superheroes. They don't. Men or women, they're extremely attractive, and their physiques are perfect because they're supposed to be stylized, you know, almost pictures of human perfection. That's the whole fucking thing. It's a fucking fantasy. It's not real. These are perfect people with these amazing abilities that do these godlike and saint-like fucking or demonic fucking actions. They're not supposed to look fucking normal. They're not supposed to be mundane. The things that they do and the decisions that they make are supposed to have real world fucking world altering, sometimes cosmic altering fucking circumstances. It's absolutely ridiculous to apply any kind of reality to that, or any kind of there's needs to be more of this and more of that. And why are all the women sexualized? Because they don't they because you I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. And why do you fucking care? What does it hurt you that a fucking drawing has a fucking, skimpy outfit? What does that fucking hurt you? How does that fucking hurt you? Explain it to me how you can't go on in your life knowing that there is a fucking drawing of a girl wearing a skimpy outfit. Tell me how that tell me. Explain it fucking to me. And make it dumb. Make it for a fifth grader, for a 5-year-old, so I can clearly understand the fucking bullshit you're about to spout out to me. Please, go ahead. Explain it. Explain how my enjoyment of this fucking comic book is devastating to your fucking existence. Explain it. And this, of course, is Medusa, Black Bolt's wife, a hot redhead in a purple leotard. Who can fucking complain about that? I don't know. I don't know. And here's another hot redhead in a green leotard. This one, I did a lot to this one. Yeah, the cleavage was all me, and of course I reapplied a better face. Yeah, and I think I think maybe the symbol was already there, but yeah. Sorry, I got a little heated about that. Apologies. Apologies. Sometimes I rant and rave. It's Martian. Let me tell you, I remember the excitement when this character right here debuted. She was in like one panel for like I don't fucking I think it was like a year and a half before she debuted. That was her debut, was one fucking panel in a comic book, because it was like the way the whole universe, there was a story wide universe going on. I mean, everything at the pre 50 pre new 52, that universe was so fucking tight. That was when I had, for like 7 years straight, I bought every single fucking goddamn comic book that DC fucking put out. If it was a leaflet, I goddamn bought it. If it was a pamphlet, I fucking goddamn bought it. Every fucking thing. Because their universe was so tight. The continuity was so clean. If something happened in one book, next week it would be referenced. Fucking, it was, everything was fucking so tight, so fucking tight. And she debuted in one image, but it was from a book that was like set in the future, and then you went through like 2 years of the story to get to that point. So she was in one fucking panel, and people went fucking ape shit. They were like, "Who the fuck is Miss Martian? Who is this girl? Where is she? When is she gonna appear? Who is this?" People were fucking freaking about her. I was one of them. I remember. I was one of them. I was like, who the fuck is Miss Martian? Finally, he's got a sidekick. This is fucking awesome. Is she an actual Martian? Because that's something. One of the differences was always between DC and Marvel is the fact that DC, all Marvel heroes, until like maybe a decade, or maybe even a decade and a half ago, possibly 2 decades ago, Marvel Comics was known for their heroes being solitary, being individuals, and in there, what they would team up, and then you had team books like X-Men, but even within that, it was all a group of individuals. You know what I'm saying? And DC was always known for having families, like they have the main character, sidekicks, former sidekicks, friends. close associates. You know what I'm saying? So there's the Flash family, there's Batman family, there's the Superman family, there's the Wonder Woman family, and Martian Manhunter was always it was just him, and it was like, fuck yeah, he's finally got a fucking family. It was fucking cool. And the fact that there was now going to be a Martian Manhunter character in the Teen Titans, it was like, this is fucking awesome. It's fantastic. Again, gave it a new face, cleaned it up. The only thing I did with this one was alter the mask, and I could not get the eyes. I could not get eyes on it that looked good. For some reason, they were always deformed and looked fucked up. And I was like, okay, I'm just going. I tried to mimic eyes as best I could. As you see that triangle there, and then it looks like there's kind of like a goggle kind of thing. That was the best I could do. But I think it turned out it turned out okay. I think it turned out okay. It's just I don't know, for some reason. Again, it's one of those things that you're just like, okay, I give the fuck up, game. I give up. I give up. You won. You won. I just won't put eyes on this one. Fuck you. Mystique. This one I combined old school with um the body of one that was supposed to be the movie version, the Rebecca Romaine version. So it was her, the skin shit. You see the texture and the shit like that, and I just took one that was like a totally different shade, a very much lighter shade of blue, and I just put the outfit on the Rebecca Romaine version. That's basically what I did here. Because in the comics, she's a very very pronounced blue. She's not light blue. She's quite blue, quite blue. People really liked my Nightwing because again, and all I did again was put that transparent fucking image over it, and then you take away all the texture, and it looks clean and smooth and nice. Of course, it gave him a different face and a different mask that I found in the community creations, and it looks much better than it did. And people were like, "Yep, it looks fucking awesome." This one I made 100% myself. I mean, she was in Excalibur. She is the daughter of Cyclops and Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Phoenix is Jean Grey from the future. So she has the powers of the Phoenix Force, and she was member of Excalibur with Captain Britain, Nightcrawler, Megan, and Shadowcat. It was an awesome book, drawn by Alan Davis. one of my favorite artists, probably top 5 favorite artists. And her suit was basically a skin tight. Boots were attached to the outfit. You know what I'm saying? They weren't separate. They were part of the bodysuit. Skin tight, deep red latex with spikes. Where these little silver dots are is supposed to be little spikes, silver spikes. She was fucking hot as shit to a teenage me. Let me just say you that. And so I made her, and she was kind of popular. She was pretty popular in the creations, community creations. I had to add each one of those lines. I had to add all the little silver dots, but she turned out pretty fucking cool. And when she activated the Phoenix Force, her hair caught on fire, and she had fire in her eyes and shit. So that's why her hair is glowing. But yeah, that one I made entirely myself. I did not make her alternate outfit though. But that particular one I did. Poison Ivy. I gave her a much better face. Much better face. And I added you see the dark leaves over her tits, her boobs, her breasts. I added those to her eyebrows to kind of give her a more, I don't know, pretty yet evil version of Poison Ivy, I guess you could say. Kind of doesn't. I think she has this shit in the movie version, the Batman and Robin. I think so. I think that's where I got the idea for that. But she looked really good. This is another one that was really popular, obviously. The community creations they're pretty easy to please. But you know, the Captain America was extremely popular. My Batman and Superman were really popular. It's just if you just clean stuff up and you just make it look good, that's what people are looking for. Because a lot of people will bypass stuff because they're like, yeah, it kind of looks like it, but it's messy and it's blah. You just straighten stuff up, tidy it up. I had to do some cleaning on this one, some trimming of the outfit, some trimming of the circle around her boobs there. Probably a little too much trimming, but yeah, you know, what that's always been a thing with her character is that her breasts were exaggerated because the writer or the artist who drew her, who created her, he said he kept making her boobs bigger and bigger and the empty space bigger and bigger until somebody noticed that he was doing it, and then that's where they stayed. So Power Girl was always she's always supposed to have had a ridiculously huge set of tits. She's always supposed to have had that. You know, and it's like there are women in the world who have naturally ridiculously large breasts. I mean, they're out there. You know them. You see them every day. And she was supposed, that's just one of the things that's what sets her apart from other people is she was supposed to have these just amazing, enormous fucking tits. I mean, that's just, some people, some people are, I have those. Some people are flat chested. Some women are flat chested. Some women are not. Another one that I cleaned up as best I could with, because you only have so many spaces. So I tried to clean up the lines as best as I could. Gave it a new face. Came out pretty well. She was pretty popular. She was pretty popular. But that's not surprising. Psylocke's a pretty popular girl. A British chick who's a ninja. Sign me the fuck up. New face is all I did on this one. New face. A lot of people don't realize that Psylocke is not Asian. She's British, and I don't mean like she's Asian born in Britain. She's just 100% blue-blooded British. Her fucking brother is Captain Britain, for fuck's sake. Didn't do anything to this one either. This was entirely somebody else's work. Quite nice. There's a couple of lines there on the cheek that could have been cleaned up, but that's mostly sometimes that happens in the trim and stuff and erasing stuff in certain programs. For some reason, it'll capture an edge for it. I don't. It does it sometimes, but still pretty good. This is something that I particularly like sharing because this is shit. It's stupid, but this shit is important to me. You know, I don't know why. I can't. I don't know why. But doing stuff like this, I don't know. I don't know. This is just important to me. And sometimes, when you've got a YouTube channel, you want to share shit that's important to you, to the world, to let anybody out there who this might be important to too know that, hey, I get it. I'm right there with you. This is stupid. Most people are like, this is a total waste of time. Why do you put fucking 1,600 hours into this? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do anything to this one either. This was a really good job. With what you have to work with, this is a really good job. And I love the Red Lanterns. It broke my heart the day I realized that I could never be a Green Lantern because I was a Red Lantern. When they created Red Lanterns, and the first Serp says it's actually quite interesting. I like comic books, but I don't have anything close to your knowledge of the characters. Yeah, my up until uh up until New 52 and somewhere after Civil War is where I stopped caring, and anything after that I don't like. I don't think it's real because New 52 was I don't know. It was spitting in the face of any of old school fans because the universe that they had created with the characters that they had had since the fucking 80s. So you're talking about like 40 years, close to 40 years of history, because that was continuous. That continuity continued that whole time. And when they fucking and it led up to this amazing fucking crescendo, like uh the lanterns, the Black Lanterns, when they fucking showed up, the fucking, I mean, the Identity Crisis and fucking Infinite Crisis 2 and fucking, it was just, there was so much shit going on, and it was so fucking fantastic because, like I said, it was everything that happened rippled out into every other fucking book. It was so fucking just amazing for people that loved that universe and those characters for 40 fucking years. And New 52 was a spit in the face to that. It was like, okay, we're going to shit can all that now. And it was, it was like, because you're constantly chasing these fucking people, these new fucking readers, they don't fucking exist. They don't fucking exist. Okay? There are no new readers. You're not going to entice somebody. What you're going to do is you're going to get a bunch of people buy fucking issue number 1 of your restart of Superman, and that's it. They're not going to read it. They're not going to continue buying after that. They're going to get the first goddamn issue because that's the first goddamn issue, and they're going to put it up in a shelf or look at what I've got, and they're going to show their friends when they pretend to be fucking geeks. Look, I've got this one fucking comic book. Go fuck yourself. But anyway, so you're going to shit can all that fucking shit just for that immediate one-time fucking payoff that's going to dwindle out within 2 fucking months. It was so fucking stupid. It was so fucking stupid. And it hurt them. They know it fucking hurt them. You know why? Because within like 2 years, they were back to the old fucking characters. They tried to fucking have to rework them back into the goddamn universe and acted like that was their plan all along. No, it wasn't. You failed. You failed, motherfuckers, because you pissed off the people who had been buying your shit all that time by telling them, hey, you know that shit that you've grown up with? Fuck it. We're going for some new bullshit because we think somebody out there might fucking want to start reading again. No, they don't. They don't. They don't care. Your audience was your fucking audience, and it was dying because they were fucking getting old and dying. That's it. Your medium had a select group of people who fucking fed you and kept you fucking going for goddamn decades. And you keep chasing this imaginary fucking audience that is not there. They never will be there. But it's like the one industry that tries desperately to say this is not who our fan base is, while the fan base is going, hey, yes, we are. I'm sorry, but we fucking are. Your fan base, 95% straight white dudes. I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry. Now, I know there's people out there of other fucking shades of skin tone that buy comic books. I know there's people out there with tits who buy fucking comic books. But 95 fucking percent of the people who pay your fucking salary and buy these goddamn books, every fucking book you put out for 7 years motherfucking straight, are straight white dudes. I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry. But that is the goddamn truth. And they are middle-aged to fucking old white straight fucking dudes. I'm fucking sorry. No offense to anybody else out there who might be like, hey, I'm black and I read comic books. I know you do. I know you do. But go to a goddamn comic book convention prior to when the MCU was the best thing in the fucking world. And what did you goddamn find? Straight, white dudes. You go to any comic book convention that isn't attached to Hollywood. Go to your local one, not San Diego fucking Comic-Con, not Chicago Comic-Con, not New York Comic-Con. You go to the local Wyatt fucking Inn goddamn comic book fucking convention where all they have are fucking comic books. And what do you fucking find? Straight, white dudes. I'm sorry. You know, that's it. That's it. And again, I'm not meaning to offend anybody out there who is a girl or who is a minority who also reads comic books. I know you're out there. I know you exist. I know you in real life. I've met some in real life. But go to a common comic book store any day of the week, or particularly on Wednesday when new issues come out, and what will you find? Straight, white dudes. That's all I'm saying. And that's what New 52 was. That's largely what fucking Civil War was. Because all Marvel became after Civil War was the heroes were fighting each other more than they were fighting the bad guys. And all the bad guys were suddenly now presented as sympathetic. That's what Marvel Comics became. And DC decided we're going to turn everybody gay. And what happened? Guess who left? guess who stopped buying comic books and crashed the industry to where the only thing that's supporting them now is the movies? What do you think what do you think it was? Who do you think left? Who do you think left? Straight white dudes. Yep. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not telling you a fairy tale. I'm telling you the fucking truth. I'm telling you right now why Marvel Comics is fucking dead in the water. I'm telling you right now where DC Comics is so fucking dead that they have considered selling off those characters multiple times. Not all of them together either. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what happened. Whether you want to accept that that is the truth or not, that's totally up to you. That's totally optional. I'm not lying to you. I didn't do shit to this one. This one is fucking amazing. This 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 is good. I mean, this is crazy good. this is this is some attention to detail right here. This guy did a fantastic job. I didn't have to touch that face. I didn't have to do shit. This guy knows what's up. And I don't know who any of these creators are because I don't pay attention to it because most of them aren't like they're just because you don't really know where any of this shit comes from because people people do like I do. They take something and they tweak it and they alter it. They put together with this piece from that piece. So you have no idea who the first person is that created something because you'll see like the same thing a dozen times and you'll be like, "Oh, is this a new one?" Nope, same one. And from people who just up download it and re-upload it just to get, uploads, So I don't keep track of any kind of creators because I can't be sure that that's who actually created it. Some people put stuff up and then take it down. They just put it up for a little while and then they make something else and put that up for a little while. Just a new face and a new mask, I believe, on this one. My favorite Robin, Tim Drake. Tim Drake is fucking awesome. He's not fucking gay. Fucking 20 years. Had a girlfriend all that time. Never once an inkling, never once any suggestion anywhere throughout his history that he was even remotely gay. But they decided all of a sudden one day, yeah, he's gay. This I did a lot of cleaning up. The symbol, the suit, and I gave it a much better face. Gave her a much, much better face. I didn't do the hair though. Somebody else did the hair. The hair is really hard to do. If it's the hair, I mean, the hair is really hard to do. They made it. I mean, if it, to make it look clean and shit like that. From a distance, you can make it look decent from a distance, but up close and shit, like and there is up close shit within the game and in the entrances and stuff like that. You can tell if it's sloppy, and I don't fuck around with it too much, as because I try, but I'm like this. Oh, I don't like it. It looks bad. Looks bad. I cleaned this up some. The stripe on the inside I cleaned up, and of course made the suit smooth. But yeah, I know a lot. I know I've forgotten more shit about comic books than most people will ever fucking know. Like literally, my earliest, I learned how to fucking talk. I learned, you know, complex fucking ideas about fucking parallel universes and alternate realities and fucking supernatural shit, all from comic books, because I started reading comic books from a very early age, and comic books, despite what a lot of people think, and particularly my dad always called them funny books, and it always made me want to fucking punch him in the balls. It was like, they're not fucking funny books, Dad, because they didn't dumb shit down. Comic books don't dumb shit down. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, they were written for kids. They weren't and as I grew up, the medium grew up along with me, knowing that it was people from my generation who were essentially had become the writers and shit like that. So it evolved as I grew up, and that's why when I say that was straight white older dudes is what it was, is because that's what it fucking was. I'm sorry, but they didn't dumb shit down for kids. They knew that kids were what was reading the books, but it was not dumbed down. So these you know fucking concepts of reality and fucking um subatomic fucking science and fucking radiation and mutations and fucking and the things that the fucking super scientist villains and shit like that would fucking say, and it was just you know you saw these enormous fucking words, and you were like, what does this fucking mean? And then you went and fucking found out what that fucking meant. Be like, Dad, what does this mean? And be like, oh, it's this and this. And be like, oh, that's what that is. Okay. And that's where I learned to read. That's where I fucking, I care about this shit because or, you know, I was, because, well, another little side thing here is that people of my age who grew up collecting comic books, we knew that there was something wrong with us. We understood that. It was something that we didn't necessarily wear as a badge of honor. It was more like um, a battle scar. It was like some way, you acknowledge the person, it's somebody you work with, and you mention a comic book reference, and they get it, and they say something back to you, and you kind of nod at each other because, yeah, you're cut too, aren't you? You know what I'm saying? You've got scars. It was because there's a reason that people my age, there's was something. This was said in a comic a stand up comedy special that had Patton Oswalt and fucking I can't think of his name. Dude from I'm totally fucking I told no, it's gone. It's gone. But the movie about the fucking bachelor party where they lose their friend and they made two sequels for some reason. Hangover? Yes. Hangover. Hangover. I can't think of what his name is. You know, the dude with the beard. But anyway, he was one of the stand-up comics as well, of Patton Oswalt and two other people, and they were there. Three of them were comic book collectors. And Hangover, yes, Serp says Hangover. Three of them were comic book collectors, and the dude with the beard was not. And he told them that he had this theory that everybody, you know, who's an adult who still collects comic books, there was some traumatic event that happened in their life at around that time that kind of stunted them. And that is oddly kind of true. You know what I'm saying? It is oddly kind of true. And you kind of cement yourself in this universe that's colorful, and it matters. You know, things that people do matter, and the way they behave and the way they act and treat each other, it matters. And you know, it's kind of better. It's better than the real world. Zach Galifianakis. Yes, Zach Galifianakis. Thank you, sir. He says Galifa something. That was enough to turn it on in my brain. Zach Galifianakis. But yeah, so there's something that happens to people, and this becomes more important than the real world. And and I was talking, to my friends one time. They were asking me something about my nephew, where he was working, and I was like, I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea what the my nephew, who I live with. I was living with my mom, my sister, and my nephew at the time, and I was like, I don't have any idea. It's like, it's kind of weird that I can tell you everything you want to know about Superman. I can tell you where he's from. I can tell you who his original parents are. I can tell you who his adopted parents are. I can tell you who the people who work with. I can tell you their names. I can tell you who he dates. I can tell you who his friends are. I can tell you just about anything you want to know about Superman, but I can't tell you shit about my own nephew. It was like, you know, it was like one of those moments where you were just like, hmm. But yeah, I know a lot about comic books because that's been my world, literally my fucking world, for the vast majority of my life. And me and my friends, we wanted so much for the world to experience it, because it's the stories. There's a reason that some of those stories are the classic stories that they are. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason that they resonate so strongly with people. Because they're good. They're good. They're thought provoking. They're emotional. They're journeys. And when comic books are done right, it's one of the most powerful mediums out there, because it's a perfect blending of stylized art and stylized storytelling. It's just so we wanted to share what we loved with people. We wanted people to understand why this was so important to us, why it mattered so much, why we were so moved by it, and it stuck with us so much. We wanted to share that with the world, and we didn't understand why people couldn't see, you know, how cool it was. So we wanted these movies to be made. We wanted these TV shows to be made. We wanted it to be put in all these different forms of media so that people could experience it, I guess, in a way that was more palatable, or they would be more willing to, to accept. And then it got popular, you know? And then it got popular. And what happens when things get popular? They forgot their roots. They forgot where they came from. They forgot why these stories matter. They forgot why people cared, because there were too many people out there who just wanted to watch pretty colors on the screen and see RDJ. Oh, that Robert Downey Jr. He's so funny. Oh, I like that Thor. Oh, that Thor's, he's pretty cool. I like him. He's funny too. It was like, yeah, if I could go back to the teenage me, we would spread the word to everybody. Don't ever go see another fucking superhero movie, a comic book movie again. Let them die. We cannot let these fucking people in. We cannot let them in. I know you want people to understand. I know you want people to appreciate this shit. You cannot do it. It will destroy it. You cannot. That's what I go back and tell my teenage self when me and my friends were sitting at our dinner table at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning after we had just gone to Kroger's and gotten some fucking TV dinners, and we're sitting there eating, trying not to wake up my parents, and having hours long debates and discussions about characters and what would they be like in real life, and just I would say, hey, you don't want them to know. They don't deserve to know. They don't deserve to know. I made this smooth. This was one of my most popular ones, probably top five. I mean this, I cleaned it up a lot, and people people obviously recognized that. It was an excellent job. It was just, you know, like I said, just sometimes there's just little things that they'll overlook, or maybe they're rushing to get it out, or maybe they've spent fucking 3 hours getting everything else on it done, and they're just like, that's fine, I don't care. I'll clean it up later. I'll just upload it. You know what I'm saying? This is almost like the confessional part of the 420 subathon. This is like the really get to know Carbonor and what makes him tick. I'm not trying to turn this into a diary episode or anything like that. It's just, you know, looking through all these things and all these characters, and as I said, sharing this shit that matters to me with you. It's, you know, it makes me want to explain why it matters, you know. Why, you know, these perfectly physiqued people in skin tight latex shooting lasers from their eyes and their hands and shit and fighting other people in outlandish fucking outfits. Why does that matter? This is just stupid stuff, right? This is just cartoon shit. This kid shit. Why does it matter to you? Because it was never kid shit. It was never kid shit. People died in comic books, you know, and up until a point, they didn't come back. You know, it was traumatizing. Like the fucking like let's take for example the fucking Transformers movie. You know what I'm saying? They killed Optimus Prime. The people who Hasbro had no fucking idea the emotional impact that that would have on an entire generation of fucking young boys. They had no fucking clue that they had just decimated millions of little fucking boys in this country when they killed Optimus Prime in that movie. They thought they were just making way for the next line of toys. They had no fucking idea what that did. And there's been interviews with the people behind that movie who were like, we didn't know. we we didn't know. We're sorry. When I was a fucking kid, I fucking bawled. When he turned goddamn gray and his fucking head fell over, I fucking bawled like a goddamn baby. I was fucking. It was like somebody took my goddamn heart out, ripped it out of my chest, spit on it, and then threw it in the ground and stomped on it. I'm telling you what, it. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. They had no idea. Both these Spider women I cleaned up quite considerably, and I gave her a better face. This was a blend of like probably three, maybe four different Spider Women until I got the right mix that I liked. This one was very popular. I put basically this. It was the same attire. I didn't really have to do a whole lot to it to clean it up or anything like that. It was pretty smooth the way it was, but I put it on a better body. They had her on kind of a frumpy, like a more wrestler, female wrestler. You know, this body type is supposed to be, I guess, more valet, you know, or something, because she's not as muscular, and it's what I use for most of my female characters because it's, I mean, it's the most feminine. So I just put it on a better body and gave it a much better face than it had, and I had to put in order to get the skin tone on the face to look orangish, I had to put on like I expanded an in-game generic image circle and made it orange, and then kept transparenting it until it got to where you could see enough of her face to see the face, but still looked orange. And then I tried to match the body to it. This she was also quite popular. This isn't an exciting episode. I realize that. Not an exciting part. I guess it's kind of like me doing a something that like other streamers do. You know, make a video where they get on and they complain about something instead of playing games. There's a whole lot of people who made YouTube careers out of just getting online and complaining about shit. And that's all they do is just complain about shit. I used to follow a lot of them, and then I got tired of just listening to them complain about shit. It's like it got to the point to where it's like, okay, now I see that you guys are just doing this because it gets you views. That's all. That's the only reason you're doing this. My storm. A black character who existed prior to about 10 years ago. Also, you know, back in the 80s, she without powers because her powers were taken away. Without powers, she was the leader of the X-Men. Yep. Do you know that? Bet you didn't. Did you know that the black Captain Marvel, who she wore the white outfit, you know what I'm saying? The one that she was kind of in the Marvels movie. Do you know she was the leader of the Avengers for a long time? Do you know that? Back in the 80s? Do you know that? Do you know that? Back when, it was all racist and it was all white, remember? Remember it was all white back then? It was all just for white people, and all the characters were white and everything was white and white, 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 white. Remember back then? Yep. Leader of the X-Men, black woman. Leader of the Avengers, black woman. Back when there was no diversity, you know. You know what? Nobody cared. No big deal. People loved it because Storm deserved it. Storm deserved to be the leader of the X-Men. She was awesome. People were a little more apprehensive about Captain Marvel, the black Captain Marvel, but that was primarily because she was very new character, and people hadn't really gotten used to her yet, gotten to know her yet. But Storm, everybody was like, "Fuck yeah, she's awesome. She kicks ass even without her powers." That was when she had the big white mohawk. Yep, we didn't have diversity back in the 80s. Nope, it's all white, 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 white. This Superboy, I cleaned up his suit, made it look nicer, gave him a nicer face. Better symbol, better symbols than what they had. I found better ones in the community thing and replaced them. That's my favorite Superboy outfit, by the way. It made him look more distinct, more kind of edgy. But then that is to say that I really loved the pre-52 version of him, where he just wore jeans and a T-shirt with an S on it. That was like, okay, that's fucking awesome, because he didn't give a shit, because he was just like, yeah, I'm Superboy, go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it was like very. My friends didn't like it, but I was like, I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. Better symbol, made the top tighter, cleaned up the face. She was pretty popular. I didn't give her the like the really feminine body, because she's supposed to kind of be, you know, teensish. So I wanted her to have kind of a more younger body, not as adult. Because she's Teen Titan, by the way. And despite the fact that she was like, I guess in comics she's probably out of high school by now. I don't know if they would still have her in high school, but she was like 16 when she appeared, and even at that age, she was stronger than Superman because something about she had because she was because she grew up with the in on Krypton for those 16 years that somehow that altered her physique to take in the solar energy better. I think it was something like that, as opposed to Superman, who came here as an infant. So despite the fact that he was Kryptonian, he was, you know, he was raised on Earth. So that altered. It was something to do with that, and that made total sense to me. My friends didn't like it, but I was like, see, I don't care if you want to make a powerful female character, just give me a reason why they're stronger, and I'll be like, okay, okay, I totally get that. Okay, that makes absolute sense to me. I'm down with it, and I was totally willing to accept it. The fucking Batgirl that I showed you earlier was a better fighter than Batman. And again, my friends didn't like it, and I was like, okay, look, she was raised from near infancy by fucking Deathstroke to be a perfect killing machine, to the point that she communicated through violence. She didn't speak. The way she communicated was by hurting you. You know what I'm saying? So she was raised to be the perfect fucking killing machine. So it made total fucking sense that she would be a better fighter than fucking Batman. Now, whether or not, I'm not saying she was stronger, she was just better. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he would be physically stronger and was physically stronger than her. It's just a matter of, can you hit her before she's already killed you? You know what I'm saying? So I was, again, give me a reason. Give me a reason that this 4-foot girl can beat this 6'6" dude that makes sense to me, and I am 1000% on board. I am, all right, let's go. I'm ready to fucking go. But if you just say, just cause, I'm going to be like, nope, sorry, nope, nope, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. If you're just going to tell me that this girl who took some karate classes is better than Batman, who studied for half his life to be a fighter, I can't, I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to buy it. But if you tell me this little girl was raised from infancy by a killing machine to be an even better killing machine, I'm going to be like, okay, okay, I'm down. I'm down with it. That's all I need. That's all I need. Don't just tell me just cause it's not true. It's not real. I know that's not the way it works. But if you give me a reason, okay. This one I cleaned up a lot. A lot. Smoothed out the suit. Better symbol. Better symbol there. The same ones that's on the Superboy and the Supergirl. People really like this one. They really like this one. Because how clean it looks. At least I assume that's why. Put a better face on him. That's basically it. It's pretty good. I like this. I was happy with this one. Again, Adam Warlock, Thanos, and Gamora. Fucking love them. I mean, Gamora is essentially Thanos' daughter, right? And Adam Warlock is essentially and they did get married eventually. Gamora's husband, and Adam Warlock and Thanos spent the majority of their lives hating each other, and yet somehow they're a very strange and connected family. It's very strange, and that's part of why people love the dynamic of of those characters when Jim Starling wrote them, and he's the one he didn't create. I don't think he created either one of them. He just basically took ownership of them, and it got to the point to where people rejected anything that was written about those characters that Starling didn't write because he was the only one who understood them, and people were like, nope, nope, and it got to the point to where that in one of the books, Thanos explained. Jim Starling wrote this that Thanos explained that anytime you seen me acting out of character, it's one of my fucking android replicas, and it was like, oh, that's beautiful. That essentially gives every fan the right to say, if Starling didn't write it, it ain't real. It was fucking awesome. I didn't do anything to this one. This one was I might have cleaned the face that came with it because this is the face of the dude who was the Flash in the original TV series and then played Jay Garrick in the Flash CW show. I can't remember his name. But so yeah, I didn't really do anything to this one. Just cleaned up his face. And it is hard to get the faces just right. I mean, you have to. It's a lot of trial and error. I mean, it's hard to figure out when you decide that okay, I want it to be on this shape, getting it to fit, and then you have to backtrack and be like, nope, that was too tight or too small or too big or too wide. Let me go back and reshape it because it is a process that you have to usually go 4 steps back in order to rectify certain problems. It's very complicated. It's very time consuming. It's very time consuming. If you don't have a touch of OCD, you you'll be like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna go online and see if somebody like you has posted something. Again, a lot of cleaning on this one. People like this one. If this one had some part that was like exclusive to the DLC, and that's what keeps some stuff from being downloaded as much because there's certain stuff that's tied to DLC that if you don't have the DLC, you can't download whatever it is. So those things won't get quite as many downloads because a lot of people, you know, aren't going to pay money for DLC, which is understandable. You know, it is what it is. The Punisher, new face. That's basically all I did. Comic book version, because comic book versions are better. I've stressed that already. How long have I been talking? How long has this episode been going on? I just realized. Okay, that's not horrible. We're at about what 2.5, 3 hours of me just rambling, yelling and hollering and having a fit. I did some stuff on this one. Made it so it looks like more textured. I embossed the images so it looks like cracky and actually rock like. This one got a lot of upvotes, but not like an equivalent number because you'll get a usually more downloads. Like it's like a ratio of likes to views on a video, basically. So you'll get more downloads than you'll get likes on your images and shit that you upload usually. And this one got a high amount of likes, but not at the ratio of downloads. So people were like, "Hey, that's really good, but I don't want it." Okay. Let's go back this way. Cleaned up the face, and that was pretty much it. I think his entrance has a helmet. Thor is like probably the one thing that MCU has done to a character that I really liked. I'll admit that the MCU made Thor look a lot better, but he still could have had his helmet. He could still wear a fucking helmet. You know, that's my one gripe. You could still put a helmet on that motherfucker. Oddly enough, Troya is a bad word in Greek. Apparently, it is a derogatory term for somebody, for something. I don't know what, because it made me her name when I uploaded it was just a bunch of stars, and when that happens, it means it's an offensive term. And I looked it up in Google, and apparently Troya, who this character, that is her name, Troya, Donna Troy, it's a derogatory term in Greece. I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, so it censored her name. It's very strange. Just a new face on this one. Because she, like a Nightwing, they graduated beyond the sidekick status. They grew up and became their own people, their own characters. You know, Nightwing was Robin, Troya was Wonder Girl. Venom is my most downloaded, and all I did to him was accentuate the texture in the outfit a little bit more. And yeah, I think that's about it. I altered the texture. I think I altered the face. I think it had one with the tongue. Yeah, that's what it was. It had one with the tongue, and added just the eyes and the mouth were from just an image by itself, and I added that on top of it instead. And I think it was because of Eddie Brock. Yeah, it's because I added a face to him, so it's actually, there's a human part of it there. This was my most downloaded one. People like Venom. It is weird the fetish that some people have for Venom, though. It's very strange that there's so much Rule 34 shit of Venom. It's very strange. I cleaned this up a lot. Better face. Added the stockings. Very popular. She was very popular, as I'm sure you can see why. And this is totally Emma Frost. This is something she totally would have wore before they made her a good guy. This is totally something that Emma Frost would have worn back when she was the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. Decent Wolverine. It could be better. The mask, is a little weak, but it gets the point across. You know who this is. This is my favorite Wolverine outfit, the brown and tan. This was what he wore for the majority of, you know, my childhood. We're almost done, folks. And then I'll start playing something. Is that crazy or what? You've gone on this little emotional roller coaster with me. Any of y'all who've been here this whole time, and I know there's at least a few of you out there who have been, because I've seen the numbers. Thank you. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from on some of these issues, some of these things, and probably if you're here watching this shit, then this stuff probably means something to you too, or at least you can understand. You probably have something that you can totally understand. You know, this I did a lot of work, a lot of work. I replaced the symbol because I think it had a movie version of the symbol, and I looked for a more comic book version of the symbol and the W at the belt a lot. I made it look a lot nicer. I mean, it was very sloppy. She looked pretty good though. I think she turned out pretty well. Just three more. Three more. We're almost there. I am super happy with how my Wonder Woman turned out. This is like a blend of movie and comic book. A very nice blend with a fucking amazing face that I found, and I am very very proud of how I got it applied. I think this turned out fucking amazingly well. Because Wonder Woman is supposed to be like jaw dropping, just fucking stunningly like duh kind of beautiful. And not only that, she's supposed to have this aura that she resonates around her that just makes people calm. That just makes, it just makes people, yeah, things are okay. And I think I conveyed that with this face pretty well. Wonder Woman is such an amazing character. She's such a fucking amazing character. And, she's so underrated. People don't understand how fucking strong she is. They don't understand that she can literally go toe to toe with fucking Superman, and she can kill him. She can kill him. She almost did. She did once. She had see. Okay, this is a long story, so I don't know if I should go into it because we're trying to get done so I can move on to playing games and be more entertaining than me just running my mouth about shit. But she got in a fight with Superman. He was being mind controlled, and she she slit his throat. She slit his throat so she could get to the person who was mind controlling him. She knew that he would heal in time, so she didn't go deep enough that it would kill him, but she could have. She could have. Because her shit's magic, and Superman has a weakness to magic. So on top of her being able to physically go hand to hand with him. Now it's not a perfect ratio, you know what I'm saying? He is still, stronger, but it's in the way that a man is stronger than a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, a man is most likely going to be able to physically, beat a woman in a fight. Your typical man, your typical woman, but they can put up a fight and she can do that. And then she's a better fighter than him, so that kind of gives her a slight bit of the edge. Because if Superman doesn't know martial arts, he doesn't know boxing. He's just sheer power. He's sheer power and sheer strength. And she's got combat. She's got thousands of years of combat experience. You know what I'm saying? Fighting other women, training themselves to be these expert fucking warriors. Amazons are badass. And then you make them immortal and they just become even more badass. And no, she's not the fucking daughter of Zeus. I fucking hate that current fucking bullshit that they've made her the fucking daughter of Zeus. That's bullshit. She was molded out of clay and she was breathed life into by Zeus at the behest and the begging of her mom, because Hippolyta wanted a child so desperately that she begged and pleaded and prayed for Zeus to give life to this form of clay that she had made in the shape of a baby girl, and he did, and that was fucking Wonder Woman, fucking Zeus's daughter. X-23. I've just always liked this character. I was like, oh, okay, she's pretty cool. And the last one, Reverse Flash, but I prefer to call him Zoom because that was one of his names too, Professor Zoom. And then uh, the second Zoom, Professor Zoom just called himself Zoom. So you had Flash and Zoom. They made him. Oh my God, he was so badass. Zoom, not the original Reverse Flash, but Zoom. He was fucking. He was a badass character. Because his whole thing was he just wanted to make everybody better. So he would be killing superheroes' fucking family members because he wanted them to be a better hero. So he was kind of, I'm just trying to make you better. It's like, wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's fucking demented. But okay, so the sneak preview that I did, ha, Serp says I played Zoom a lot in the Lego game. LOL. I have the villains. Is that the one you're talking about? The DC villains game. I have that, and I got to a point in it, and I could get no further. Like I could not figure out for the life of me. For hours I tried, and I could not get anything done. And I eventually was just like, okay, I guess I'm done with this game because I can't progress any further. I don't know what to do. I don't know what it wants me to do. So I had to stop playing it. But it was fun. It's fun. Those Lego games are a lot of fun. Tongue in cheek, kind of, you know, kind of fun. But again, I think we're going to end this portion of the 420 subathon. Again, I did not. I think I might go ahead and jump straight into fucking. Unless you would you like to play Fall Guys? We can get in some Fall Guys before I start the first Ascendant, if you'd like, sir. I didn't mean to go this long. It's fucking just fucking hollering and shit. I literally didn't. I thought I'll jump on here and I'll just go through this maybe an hour or so. Serp says the new Lego Batman looks good. Is that the one? This like just a Lego version of Arkham Asylum, isn't it? Isn't it? I said that's totally Southern, isn't it? Oh, time to drink something. Been talking a lot. Mm. Serp says I just ordered McDonald's, so I don't think I should get into a game just yet. That's probably a good idea. Oh, well, I'm okay. I'm gonna do my closeout for this then, and I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. And I'm gonna grab some snacks, refill my drink, and I'll be back. It is awful close to morning daily thingy, Tommy. Tommy, morning daily thingy Tom. So I guess I could probably go ahead and jump on the first Ascendant, and then after that, I know what I'm gonna play after the usual time that I shut that off. I'm gonna play Five Hearts Under One Roof because there should be some, that's usually around about the time that I cut off the live stream every morning. I've noticed that it starts kind of picking up, that the numbers, one or two more people, not any massive thing like that, but I've noticed there's few. It seems like there's more people towards the end than there are at the beginning. So I figure perhaps there'll be more people for that audience, and since the majority of my viewers are from the Asian area over there in that corner of the world. And since this is a Korean dating game that's, in English, you know, well, subtitles anyway, perhaps that will draw some people in. And it should be interesting to try to get some chat interaction and help me decide how to woo these lovely young ladies. It's not animation, by the way. It's like real, it's real people, you know. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting. But yeah, I think that's the plan currently. And after that, I'm not sure what we'll play after that, but it'll probably be something. But yes, that's the plan. We're gonna we're gonna we're gonna go ahead and close this out. Uh, Serp says, have you seen any gameplay of Five Hearts, or are you going in blind? I have seen Asmongold play the second one, but I don't believe I've seen anybody play the first one. So I'm kind of going in blind. Kind of going in blind. But it should be fun regardless. But I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this. Run to the bathroom, refill my drink, find some snacks. It's all sorts of shit. and I'll be back in a few minutes. But for now, thank you everybody for being here. Sir, dude, always a pleasure. I hope you hang out for the next portion or two. I hope I don't bore you too bad. I hope to everybody else, the ones that were lurking, Serp says, okay, see you in a bit. We'll see you then. Um, I hope for anybody who might have been lurking that this wasn't, too boring. I hope you weren't just like, shut the fuck up. You know, this was, like I said, this was a little confessional, and I didn't intend for it to be. I didn't intend for this to go 3 fucking hours. I really didn't. Who could have thought that I had fucking 3 hours worth of shit to play without having something to be like, okay, let me play a game for 15 or 20 minutes, talk for 5 or 10, and then play a game for. This was just me, mostly just me talking, and you know, it is, just what I say very often. It is what it is. There's at least some more added to the lore, as they say, added to the lore. More of what makes Carbonor Carbonor. But and for those of you who may be watching this video later, thank you for making it this far into this video. I cannot imagine why you would want to watch this, but unless you were like genuinely interested in the characters that are coming out in the new Federation. In that case, hey, thank you. But thank you everybody. If you saw something here that you were, that you thought was entertaining, maybe you agree with me, maybe you appreciate my opinion, maybe, any of those things. Maybe you're like actually excited to see this Federation start. Perhaps you can see your way clear to leave me a like, a comment, a share, or a subscribe. Any one of those things is immensely helpful, but the subscribes are really helpful right now. And, really the whole purpose of doing this subathon is to try to increase the subscribers, getting us closer. We're 71 away from 71? No, 81. 81. God, my math is stupid. 81 away because we have 419 at the moment. We had 420. We lost one. It happens. But it'd be pretty awesome if you wouldn't mind giving me that chance. I'd appreciate it. I try not to let you down too hard. I try to do stuff that's entertaining. And if you choose to support the channel in a different way, you will find links on my YouTube community page to my Patreon and my coffee. That's totally optional. It's totally up to you. No pressure. I'm not, it's just there if you should choose to. It'll be appreciated, but you do you. On top, while you're at all that shit, I should say, check out the rest of the stuff on my channel. I've got all kinds of content, all kinds of stuff to entertain you. I've got concerts I've been to, shot on good quality phone. So the audio's clear, clean, the visuals are good, and I'm pretty close on a couple of them. So if you're into one of those bands, you'll really like it. I don't get anything from those. They've been copyright claimed as you would expect. But it's not like I'm going to take them down or anything because I like the bands and I was there in that moment, and you get to see the concert from where I was at that moment. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's kind of like, kind of important to leave to the world. Here's where I was, and you can and experience it. Yay! Isn't that great? I also have original music that I create through an AI app with songs that I wrote 100%. I write the lyrics to all my songs. I used to be a singer-songwriter in my younger days, and I took what I wrote and what I am writing currently and feed it through that AI app in the form of a 4-piece all-girl metal band called The Circle. Um, if you like chick rock and chick metal, or just rock and metal in general, if you're into bands like In This Moment, New Year's Day, Butcher's Babies, Lacuna Coil, Flyleaf, Hailstorm, then I think you might be pleasantly surprised. You might be pleasantly surprised at just how good they sound. I used one of the top 2 Music Maker AI apps before it decided to sell out to create my music. so it doesn't have that fuzzy sound that you hear a lot in AI created songs. That you're kind of like, okay, yeah, that's AI. It's very clean, very crisp, very realistic. You can actually hear the singer inhale and exhale. I mean, it's that detailed. It's fucking crazy. So I highly recommend that you give it a shot. There's 10 albums on my channel right now, about 30 minutes apiece, 12 to 13 songs or so per album. Not that huge an investment in your time, and you never know, it may be something that you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. So give them a shot. You can also find the lovely ladies of the Circle every Wednesday on Wicked Wednesday Night. That is the female division of my original character simulated wrestling federation. The men's division is every Monday for Monday Night Mania. And then I also have a female celebrity federation that's every Tuesday for Tuesday Night Download. On top of that, as you saw here today, I have a DC versus Marvel coming soon. And I hope you're intrigued by what you saw. I will make it as good a show as I can. So I hope you enjoy it. And I also have upgrades for the men's division and the female celebrity federation coming towards the end of the year. Um, there's a lot more, 50 more characters being added to the men's division, and I did a lot of work making the faces and the stuff, the tattoos and everything for the female celebrity federation look a lot better, because I know there's a lot of the skin tones for some of those characters are very off, very pale, that kind of thing. And that's largely because that was like one of the first ones that I created by uploading stuff. So I didn't know as much about, Photoshop and editing colors and saturation and shit like that. I've learned a lot since then, and it will show when you see that come out towards the end of the year. So look for that. On top of that, I do daily live streams every morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. ish, depending on my real world work schedule, where I play the first Descendant. We call that the morning daily thingy. And I just do the dailies in the morning because it's a thing. Sometimes chat's there to join up with me, and we do some of the harder missions. Sometimes we just fuck around and grind and farm for materials and whatnot. Sometimes they're there just to give me moral support as I try to make my characters better. And sometimes they're there to give me shit for the things that I decide to do with my characters. But a fun time is had by all regardless, and we would love for you to be a part of that. We're developing a really cool community of some really chill dudes, who just want to get together and fucking hang out, shoot shit, play a little game that we like. What can be wrong with that? So if you see it pop up in your feed, stop on by. Say hey. We'll say hey, and it'll be a good time. Also, every Friday between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m., Fall Guys Fortnite Friday. Much like with the first Descendant, I'm down to play with chat, but only if you want a duo, trio, or squad. No one-on-ones. Hard, fast rule of the channel. It's boring. I don't want to do it. That's all there is to it. It's boring, and I don't want to do it. So, but duos, trios, or squads, I'm down. Just say, hey, let's play, and I'll be like, all right. And on top of all of that, as if that wasn't enough, I have a shitload of playthroughs, all kinds of genres, all kinds of titles. Horror, action, adventure, racing, roguelite, walking simulators. I'm down to play just about anything. I have a massive library of over 300 games that I've played precious little of. So if there is something out there that you would be interested, you particularly listening right now, you could be that very person. But you would be interested in watching me play, just throw it in the comments and I will check my library. If it's there, bam, gets bumped up to the top of the list. It'll be the next one rotated in after I finish one. It is that easy to have influence and impact on the content produced by this channel. All you gotta do is say something. Just say, hey, play this. And I'll be like, hey, I got it. So I will. Bam. How easy is that? And I guess, ladies and gentlemen, cats and kittens, boys and girls, that just leaves me to say thank you once again. And I truly do mean that. All you guys that show up and watch my stuff, even the ones of you who never say a word, you guys mean the world to me. All I can do is create this space. All I can do is create this channel. It's all of you guys that are going to make it grow. It's all of you guys that are going to help me make it something, and that means the world to me. It means the world to me. And while this is the end of this, it is not the end of the 420 subathon. We will continue on, but I will have to turn the shit off and end the stream and restart it in a moment because I stream from my PlayStation 5, and you have to do that. You can't just switch games and keep recording. I don't know why, but you can't. It's like it won't show anybody your menu because, oh my God, there's secrets on your menu. I don't know what secrets it is. It's the other games that are on my fucking game, console, but what the fuck ever. So I will be back in a few moments. And until next time, or in a few moments, later.